Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gussel. I know what this video is going to be about for sure, but this is the hard part of it's going to be on my end rather than yours. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you, maybe we'll go through this a few different times, um, some help you guys that want to do some more creative things um, come up with your own ideas a little bit quicker, a little better. So I'm going to call this an exercise in brainstorming. And you're going to see firsthand how I'm able to come up with ideas. Because that's one of the things I do best, along with all the music things I do and that sort of thing. So let's just start out with, okay, so we'll approach it like a creative, like a story. And we can always translate the story to a movie, video game, or whatever. So you have your main character. I think it's not always very important unless you really have a very specific story in mind, a very linear story. It's not always important if it's the main character's a guy, a girl, or what's always going on with them, or their personality. That's that. You know, I often have approached character creation, the main character right off the bat. You know, sometimes I've approached this thing where I think in depth about all these little qualities they have and make a list of them in the past. That's okay, you can do that, but it can really kind of distract you from the actual story, right? What happens to this main character. So again, as I talk, I'm going to be writing this stuff down. So we have a main character. Let's just say that it's a young man, probably about 18 years old. Thereabouts. And he lives in the forest, right? So we have a young man. I'm actually typing this in. Young man lives in the forest. Okay. So, are his parents around? Are they? What's going on with his living situation? Is he, is it grandparents, grandpa? Is he on his own? So let's just say that he lives on his own. He's moved out of the house, and he's built his own house, right? Built his own house. We'll say cabin. Built his own cabin. Lives on his own. And, like many of my stories, I prefer this to be in a fantasy setting, that it's not on Earth. You can do that if you want to. But if you pick a location on Earth, a lot of people want to know, is this a real place? And they want to grill you to death on all these geographical things. Is this there? Is this that? Da, da, da. So, well, I based this location in my story on a real place, but it's not actually geographically exactly like this place. And then someone said, oh, well, then you're kind of taking liberties, so that's fantasy. So this is why I just don't bother with Earth and period, unless I really want to write a story, unless there's something about this one place I just have to do. I just do my own thing, man. Really, makes it so much easier. Unless you want to study a map or all day, or think about all these shops and where they're located, and parks, and I don't know. So young man lives in a forest, builds his own cabin. He lives on his own. Okay. So he's obviously not going to just sit around all day whittling on a wood thing, right? What's going on here? Well, what's in a forest? Well, we have different animals that live in a forest. And because, again, this is a fantasy kind of idea, these animals can talk, let's say. So, let's just say that one day he wakes up and he goes out of his cabin, and there's a bunch of animals that are right there in the clearing outside of his cabin. And they all want to talk to him. So you have a bunch of animals. Okay, that seems like kind of like a nice idea, right? We love animals. It might seem like something that would be a kind of like for kids, maybe. Not necessarily. It depends on what the animals say. It depends on their personalities. I mean, look, if you have a teddy bear and the teddy bear just wants to go eat honey with him, and you know, you you know, and then the rabbit just wants to eat carrots. Well, then we're talking about Winnie the Pooh a little bit, right? Or if you have a moose who's kind of a klutz, or is dopey, and a little mouse. Okay, I'm talking about Rocky Bullwinkle. You can start. There's all kinds of animals that you can draw from. You can, okay, what's the first thing you think of with deer? Bambi, right? If all you have with Bambi has some things in the movie that are more intense, I know. What I'm trying to say is that with personification, right? Personification. I'm assuming you guys know what this means. When you infuse an animal with these human-like qualities, or when you have them start talking about stuff, you could have I'm not saying you have to talk about bears. Never mind. I'm just trying to say, you don't have to make it, gross or anything. You just talk about, I don't know, like snake is shedding its skin or something, and it's like not really having a good time, and it would be so nice if you could just, because the snake trusts you. Can you watch my eggs while I go, get some food? And then he comes back. Something simple as that, right? Of course, you wouldn't want. I know you don't trust snakes. Maybe, yeah. Okay, so that all being said, let's get back to our idea. Young man lives in the forest, builds his own cabin, lives on his own. There's a bunch of animals that want to talk to the main character. So let's just start coming up with some actual animals we want to put in here. Let's start with a wolf. Wolf. What does a wolf want? Let's say we can think, oh, maybe these animals are great. They're kind of neutral. We don't know if they're good or evil yet. Don't think about ideas with animals just being all good, right? Let's get outside of that a little bit and say these animals are actually, because they're more sentient, right? They're more like humans. They can make good and evil choices, so they're on a higher plane certainly than just regular animals like on Earth. This wolf, what does he want? Well, he'd say he wants more meat, right? He's hungry. He wants to eat more. So, wolf, come hunting with me, right? Come hunting with me. We'll share the meat. Now, if all of you guys know, I love meat. I have nothing against, but but there is that side to being a meat eater, right? Hunting, that definitely might tie in a little bit with being a little bit evil, because you're killing your animal and you're eating its blood and everything. So the wolf wants everyone to come hunting with him. Maybe, well, why is it the wolf can't do it himself? Maybe the wolf is trying to take down a bigger beast of prey. Or he wants more meat, but he can't take it down himself. So let's say the wolf wants to he wants to kill a bull. Like the taste of beef or something so tempting. Or a bear. No, maybe not a bear. Bear is a little bit too much for a wolf, right? Right, but let's say there's just some wild bull, right? The wolf wants, but the wolf just won't even come close. The young man has, bow and arrow and stuff. And, the young man is pretty strong, right? So the wolf thinks they have a chance. If from a long ways off the guy shoots arrow, gets him a few times, the bull, maybe. If he catches him enough, and the young man has a horse, let's say, and if he's able to, keep running away from the bull and keep shooting him, the bull will go down, and the wolf can come in and at the last minute and get him by the neck or something. But let's just say, and I'm just saying, as you're reading this, you wouldn't want you wouldn't want to find this out. You would, you know, if the young man helps the wolf, in that case, we want to give some more clues as to what would happen maybe down the road. The wolf is kind of has maybe yellowish eyes or something. It's ravenous. He's just looking at his chops. So they say they kill the bull and have a lot of meat, but then the wolf is just eating a lot of meat. He's just like a bottomless pit. The young man has some too. Right, he cooks it. Right, it takes a while to cook it. So the young man is cooking his little bit of meat while the wolf is just going to town on this thing. And then they're best buddies. And then after a bit, the wolf's like, gosh, that was awesome. But you know what? I have this hankering now for human flesh, and he just leaps on him, right, and just tears him apart, right? So, I don't know. I mean, so the wolf ends up being evil, right, or at least very carnivorous to the point of, or maybe as that story progresses, you can see elements to the wolf that might be less than honorable, right? So wolf ends up eating young man after they kill and eat a bull. Put that in parentheses or something. So what's another, and this is maybe set up a little bit more in a non-linear format. So perhaps in this story, instead of the young man's thinking about all these possibilities with what, before he makes a decision as to what to do first. Let's say, he makes the right choice. Well, let's not do that quite yet. Maybe a little bit later. Let's say, so, anyway. We'll give one more animal here because we can keep going on this idea for a while. But let's say the young man talks to a bear, right? There's a bear there. The bear says, he wants honey. So he says, so the bear says, come get some honey with me. And of course, I'll share it with you. But the bees, right? The bees, the beehive is, we'll say, it's, you would think, like large bees would be more like wasps. Wasps don't make honey, so, whatever. Yeah, you can go down that train of thought, but let's just say the bees, this beehive is, they're huge, and their stingers are beyond, they're like a level of tarantula hawk, right? Or beyond. They're extremely painful. So then with the bear, maybe you try to think of a way to get at this honey, or try to, not have the bees attack you when they're trying to get honey. So maybe you come up with these ideas. These, the young man draws up this plan of maybe, well, if you destroy the beehive from a long distance away, so he's got those bows and arrows, right? So if you shoot some bows and arrows and hit the beehive from a long distance away, the bees might not be able to find him. They might be buzzing around there for a while. But if the nest is destroyed, or the honey inside, it's still in there. Hopefully, maybe it's some that's oozing out, right? But let's say the nest is destroyed. Maybe at night, you go over there then, and you are going to be okay. But maybe it's a little bit iffy if you're going to be okay, really. So let's say you hook up some kind of device. At night, you hook up a device to get into the hive. You get kind of a little sucker thing, like a big pipe or something. And you hook the pipe up to the honeycomb, and then you have something, at the end of it, it's really strong and firm, but won't let anything larger than, so it's kind of like a mesh thing that they make, and it's like made of iron, little things. Um, it's really strong. They have to craft it and everything, but they put this mesh at the end of the pipe, and they make sure the pipe is tilted down, and it doesn't have to be super long. And they say, so maybe it's a way of having this honey flow out of the pipe into like some bowls and things, but the bees can't get through the mesh; they're too big. So, maybe they keep going on like this for a bit. So maybe let's say they try the pipe, and they hook it all up, and every night everything's working, and so honey starts coming in, and the bees are angry, but they can't get into them, can't get through them, and they get their honey eventually. And then the bear, is particularly hungry. There's just a lot of work that went into all this. So the bear ends up eating all the honey, then he feels bad, right? So maybe the bear then owes the young man a favor. But you can just, maybe this video is going on a little farther. I'm going into this a little bit more detail, and maybe this is a little bit rustic of an idea. But, again, if you're thinking, just take a step back here for a second. If you're thinking about a fantasy story with animals, just start with the nature of the animal you're talking about themselves. What's a sheep like? Is a sheep kind of a follower? Yeah. So it would be unusual to have a sheep that was a leader and more aggressive, right? Yeah, you could do that, but then it would be less sheep-like and would be more like goat-like or something, right? I don't know, like a bull or something. So it would be very nice to have a follower sheep type, character. You have a young girl at this time. Like it sounds like Mary had a little lamb a little bit. But she finds this lamb, and the lamb follows her wherever she goes. And best friends, and let's say they find themselves, and they're out in the country, and they have to go home, right? Something kind of basic. Well, it might seem like basic at the outset. Let's say there's an evil witch that's kind of messing with them, making their trip home a lot longer and a lot more weirder. So they have to maybe go down this steep hill. It just looks like it's really steep. They didn't think it was quite this steep, and it's like how do we get down this hill? And so everywhere they go, it seems like the landscape is shifting a little bit, so at the top of this big hill, and if they try going back the way they came, they just would go in the opposite direction of their home. So it's almost like the land they've been at has been pushed up a little bit. So how do they get down this? All of a sudden they find themselves at this cliff. Otherwise, so maybe they call out to see if a bird can help them, a giant bird. Maybe maybe they kind of try to look for little outcroppings on the cliff below them on the steep hill, kind of just angle down that way, feet first. Eventually, they'd say that they tumble down the hill, though. They can't get hurt. And so, let's say that there is a woodsman, right, that sees them. And okay, so then, so on and so forth. You can keep going with the story that way. But, there are things in real life, in life, that can give you ideas. And it's just like, a lot of times, if you're perceptive enough about life here on Earth, and looking at all these little details about all these things, these elements that you want to add into your story, then you can infuse your story with elements that are from our world that we know. Whether or not you're going with an animal idea or something different, and so it can kind of give you some starting point, right? After that starting point, you have to make some decisions. What's going to happen with this guy? And you have to make them. And you have to say, you know what? I'm going to go by this. This gut feeling I have for this character. It just feels right. And, it's pretty cool. But you have to, you have to think about the possibilities. Something happens in a story, right? I love to relax. Boy, whenever I can, I try to relax. But you want things to kind of move along in the story. You want the story to be about something, right? Um, so another thing, going back to this young man idea, young man has to eat, right? What if uh, he's trying to help the animals survive as well, but what if there's just not a lot of food in the area? What's he gonna do for food? Um, his own food from home that he brought with him is getting a little bit lower. He doesn't have very much money. Maybe has a little bit. Is he gonna chop down some wood and try to sell it at the market? Okay, but how does he get the wood to the market? Well, he has a horse maybe, but he can only carry. I mean, wood is very very heavy. So maybe if he talks to the animals, could the animals help him carry the wood to the market? Maybe he knows the bears, or can talk to them. Maybe the bull's kind of surly, but maybe the bears will help him out. But maybe he'll need to construct some kind of device to help the bears carry the wood, like maybe have some big bags or something. But whatever it is, or maybe after one trip like that, he's like, oh, I didn't make a whole lot of money, and this is way too heavy to carry. But maybe he finds he lives by a river. He's able to float the wood down the river. But in order to do that, he has to keep an eye on it too, and maybe he builds a boat. He finds he can build a big boat, put the wood on the boat, and then he can go down the river to this marketplace, and then he can unload the wood from there. But maybe this is more of a practical kind of thing. Maybe it's more of a practical idea. Survival, right? But it's something that helps the story move along. Maybe the main character could ask the animals to help him out. Maybe the young man is too proud to do that at first. Maybe he doesn't want to feel like he's a burden. Which young man wants to feel like they're a burden than anyone? No one. So, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I can make another movie like this, but this is kind of really designed for people that are trying to, just get going on a creative idea or something like that. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.